Howdy folks, and welcome back to Wannabe YT. I'm Barky, and we're playing Bomber Crew. I seriously overestimated the amount of time it took to say that, didn't I? Anyway, welcome to IAF Woodbridge. 44 missions flown, 293 enemy fighters destroyed, 32,050... Swiftly moving on. Right, over to the mission briefing. What missions do we have today? Bremen Tank Factory. Today's target is Tank Factory. Yeah, done it before. A lot. Submarine pens at Bremen. After the enemy's U-boats harassing shipping from their base in Bremen, destroy them in their pens. Vienna flag. Hit the flag tower. That is miles away. Holy cow. I am tempted to do these submarine pens at Bremen. It does look interesting. Then again, it would be a shame if I killed my crew on the very first mission of this video, but well, sure. Right, never liked U-boats, always submerging. Did you see that bomb? What is... That's the bomb, right? Aren't we... Okay. Holy cow, that is a big bomb. Grand Slam bomb requires removal of the bay doors. Don't let it take too much damage. Remember, it must be dropped from high altitude. Ah, yes. Oh, hang on. British engineering strikes again. Yes. The Grand Slam bomb. I didn't know much about it at the time of recording this, but now I do. Because, well, during the summer holidays I've read a few books about bomber crews in World War II. One of which was Catch-22, and the other was the Dam Busters. Yes, the ones who destroyed the dam. So I know quite a bit about the Grand Slam bomb. But more on that later. I have actually, allocated a probably badly chosen time to talk to you about that. Until then, there are fighters attacking us. Right, I got Fraser down to the belly gun, so that, well, we stop our Grand Slam from being shot to bits and exploding us in the process. Because that would be suboptimal, to say in the least. Oh, our starboard inner engine has caught fire. That is not great. Okay, everyone's freezing, so I'm going to go down to medium altitude. Actually, I've got a plan. I'm going to be jockeying between both altitudes. It's an incredibly stupid plan, and is quite a handful, especially if things get dicey, but I'm going to give it a go anyway, so that I stay as high as possible, so that it takes the least amount of time to get to high altitude and drop the bomb. Yes, it turns out I'm not actually equipped for high altitude. It's freaking cold up there. Oh well. There's some flak underneath us. Oh wow, we can navigate using the stars. Did we always have that? Did I notice that last episode and completely forgot about it? Well anyway, now that I noticed that, it's day! So it's not gonna do us much good, really. Okay, we're being shot a bit. Right. Okay. Oof. That was quite a bad direct hit. I believe that is flak. Okay, I'm gonna get Barton out on the wing despite the amount of bullets that are being fired at us, because I want to fix that engine. I don't want a repeat of last episode where we ran out of engines really to fly on and crashed. Because that was just, well, not fun. But our starboard outer engine's on fire, so I probably should get him in quickly. After all, I don't want a repeat of the raid incident. Those of you who don't remember it by name, the raid incident is the incident when I got our engineer Raid to fix an engine on the wing, and then told our pilots to do a corkscrew. Oh, that really was... I regretted that. In fact, I did regret that, because I couldn't set the mixture to lean, and I ran out of fuel 100 meters from the runway, and that didn't end well. Anyway, ensure you drop the Grand Slam bomb from high altitude. I know. I just want to... I'll go to high altitude when I see the target. Right now I need to go to low altitude so that, you know, no one's freezing. And speak of the devil, here is our target. Alright then. Okay. Good news! Our poor inner engine, who is on fire, has stopped burning. Bad news, it stopped burning because it detached from the plane. Right. Well, as promised, I am going to bore you with my nerdy knowledge of the Grand Slam bomb and the squadron who used it. The Grand Slam bomb is the brainchild... What? Is that a thing? Okay, we'll just gloss over that. Of Barnes-Wallis, and if that rings a bell, then you really know your inventor's names. You probably know what he did as well. Barnes-Wallis is the inventor of the Wellington, very popular British bomber, especially at the start of the war, until he got replaced by the Lancaster, and the bouncing bomb when he got into designing bombs. What happened was he wanted to design a bomb that could destroy the Eder Dam, and his first thought was, what if I had a bomb that created a mini earthquake and just shook the foundations of the dam? So you don't hit the dam, you hit next to the dam, and that destroys the foundations, and there's nothing for the concrete to be resting on, therefore it'll have to collapse. The problem is, that was a very quirky idea, because the bomb would have to be huge. It would weigh insanely, just weigh a ridiculous amount. I worded that terribly. It would weigh a lot, okay? And it would have to be dropped from such a height that the technology didn't exist, and to just bring it high enough, even with the Lancaster, when the Lancaster was invented, they still didn't have the technology. And they just didn't have the technology, especially when he designed it, to bomb accurately from that height. So that was just... everyone thought he was crazy. So back to the drawing board Barnes-Wallis went. And that's when he came up with another idea. He thought to himself, why hit the wall from the top when you can hit it from the side? And so the bouncing bomb was born. Although I can't say it was a smooth operation to get that accepted, especially after he was already labelled as crazy. I believe we're going to get a demonstration of how the Grand Slam bomb works. Here we go, bombs away. And perform an emergency dive. There you go. That's quite a big explosion. What a surprise. But the bouncing bomb... It was also a quirky idea, possibly even more quirky than the Grand Slam bomb. And he struggled so much to get that accepted. And he nearly didn't. At least, he wouldn't have if it didn't end up in the hands of Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill heard about it, and he thought, well, that is brilliant, we need to destroy that dam, and he always was a very adventurous fellow, and there goes our starboard outer engine. And so, the bouncing bomb was accepted. But for the operation to go, you would need a really good crew, because the accuracy required to drop that thing is insane. The amount of skill first to get there alive. You would have to do low altitude flying to go under the radar, and when I mean low altitude, I don't mean low altitude when we go low altitude, I mean the low altitude that is so dangerous it was illegal. I'm talking treetop level here. They went all the way to the Edda Dam at treetop level. It was an insane feat, and Morgan, I need someone at the steering. I'm also gonna get Fraser down in the belly because he's beginning. Wait, no, I just got a pilot to be the gunner. Oh well, if it's stupid, but it works. Oh wait, no, there goes Duncan. It didn't work. Well, kind of worked. Anyway, back to our story. So they got a team of crack crews, crack bombing crews, proper professionals. They had done 7 tours. A tour is basically when you've done enough missions, I think that's 7 missions, they can just leave the Air Force. At least that's what I recall. But you had to be good already to survive 1 tour. Now some of them, when they joined, they had done 3. So what happened was, they were proper professionals, and it is incredible that they managed to pull it off, and they still had to practice a lot, especially with the bombing, because the bombing wasn't easy either. You had to be incredibly close to the water for the bomb to bounce properly. In fact, at such a precise height, they only knew, thanks to the lights, which are actually modelled in this game when you do this mission. You'll notice those 2 flashlights we used to know when we were at the right height. Those were actually used to know when you were at the correct height for the bouncing bomb to work properly. Then, you had to be at the right distance from the dam, because if you were too close or too far, the bomb could bounce over the wall of the dam and not hit the dam. It is quite impressive they managed to pull it off, and the fact that it worked made people gain a lot of confidence in Barnes-Wallis, and that was the first mission of 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters. After that, Barnes-Wallis managed to get his Grand Slam bomb approved. And so, well, Grand Slam bomb, he managed to get his Earthquake bomb approved. He got a smaller version, and that managed to fit in the bomb bay doors, and they used it quite successfully, actually. They managed to... They got the same crew as well to do that. They got 617 Squadron to do it. They had to practice a lot with a new bombing system, the SABS bombing system, which took into account the heat, the speed, and the humidity, I believe, as well, to calibrate properly and get maximum accuracy. Because the height they were dropping the Grand Slam bomb, well, yes, the Grand Slam bomb, as well as the Earthquake bomb, it was 18,000 feet. That is high. And that means that you had to be quite good to even see the target. And they had to develop quite groundbreaking techniques to be able to see the target. But well, it appears we managed to make it back alive somehow. My story's not over, so I guess I'll bore you further on in the next mission. Until then, let's look at the briefing. Submarine pens at Bremen, mission successful. Return to base bonus, successful. No slow time bonus, successful. Everyone has returned. Jolly good. Right, advanced first aid. Quickly heal injuries of other conscious members of your crew. Oh, that is good. That is actually really good. I'm glad we got that unlocked. Anyway, onward to the next mission. What do we have today, Wing Commander Biggins? I'm not doing the Vienna flag tower. Reconnaissance has identified one of the enemy's motor factories in Belgium. Let's knock it out. Yeah, I fancy sitting back and relaxing a bit while I tell you more about stuff you don't want to know. You'll notice that I tend to laugh at my own jokes. That's not me thinking I'm funny. That's me pointing out that it is a joke so that people know it's a joke. Like there. Anyway, back to the Grand Slam bomb. Yes, the amount of accuracy 617 Squadron had to use to be able to hit it perfectly is incredible. And some of the missions they got when they used it are also quite impressive. They managed to bomb from 18,000 feet using a mini earthquake bomb, a factory. Now that doesn't sound impressive in itself. A factory is quite big, but there was a canteen, and there were workers in the canteen. Now, okay, you could say, well, all's fair in love and war, whatever that expression means, and I suppose you get blood gets spilled in the process of war, but the British government wanted to leave a good impression for France so that when they attacked, you know, the French resistance wouldn't attack them. So what they did was they said, we want to minimize the civilian casualties. So actually, they would have ended up in serious trouble if they accidentally hit the canteen. Now that seems impossible already, but somehow 617 Squadron managed to bomb that factory from 18,000 feet. Oh no, British engineering strikes again. From 18,000 feet, and absolutely, well, and missed the canteen. So that was, well, if you don't find that impressive, then either you don't understand quite the circumstances, or maybe I'm just weird. I'm getting the suspicion that if you don't find that impressive, it's probably me being weird. Anyway, after the success of the earthquake bomb, eventually they managed to collect the resources, because that was another reason people were skeptical. The amount of resources, which is already quite limited, you need to divert. If you're building a Grand Slam bomb, it better be good. If you're building, you know, some quirky idea from some unknown science, well, from some scientist who's never done bombs before, you better hope it's good, because what you're using to build that bomb are resources you could be using to build a tank, or bombs which have proven to work. So, you know, in their defense, they had a really good reason to be skeptical. But after the popularity and, you know, the success of the earthquake bomb, then came the Grand Slam bomb. And, well, it was just the bigger brother of the earthquake bomb. And using the Grand Slam bomb, 617 Squadron did some very incredible things. Just a few shoutouts of the few things 617 Squadron did. One of them managed to get a lucky shot and managed to get a direct hit of a tunnel on a tunnel. They were aiming for the tunnel mouth, but one of them managed to hit the tunnel squarely in the middle, and the tunnel was in the epicenter of the explosion. It was shaken. That tunnel was meant to supply to be a train line to bring panzers all the way to the D-Day invasion. So by the time the Germans had cleared the tunnel, the Americans had arrived and took over the tunnel. So there you go. One of the things 617 Squadron did. Another thing they did was, that was their groundbreaking marking technique actually. Because from that altitude, even haze makes it really hard to see a target. So what they decided to do was they got some American planes. I'm not quite sure what make it was again, but they got some American fighters and they used them to drop flares so they could see the target. That was another thing they did. I'm trying to hurry up because we're about to land now. What they also did, I think that was another very impressive one, was during D-Day. So while we were all going around blundering around and crashing into the ocean, they were dropping foil. Now you had to be precise, because you had to fly in one direction for precise amounts of time, drop foil at precise amounts of time, turn around and fly back for a precise amount of time. And the idea that I was making was foil would interfere with the German radar system. And what they did was they single-handedly made the German radar... They single-handedly tricked the German radar into thinking that there was a massive fleet heading to Calais the day D-Day occurred. And it was they did such a good job of it that when they were done and they started heading back, a cannon fired at the imaginary ships. That's how impressive a job they did. So yes, 617 Squadron, designed for a very special mission, and from then on in, were used exclusively for special missions. And now that I've spoiled the entire plot of the Dam Busters, I'll end by recommending that book and by saying thanks for watching. I'm Barky, and I hope to see you next time. I promise I'll try to make it more bearable. Anyway, cheerio.